Now, the report released by the Comptroller and Auditor General has estimated a revenue loss of 2,026 crore rupees due to the liquor policy of Delhi. Union Minister Anurag Thakur cited, former Union Minister Anurag Thakur cited the pages of the CAG report and asked the Delhi government who benefited from money that was supposed to be for the governance of Delhi. The AAP has called the report baseless and alleged that it was made in the BJP office. Let's listen in to the war of words.
तो 10 फाइंडिंग्स जो हैं C&AG की रिपोर्ट की जो 10 फाइंडिंग है वो बहुत डिटेल में कहती हैं सब कुछ। मैं एक एक करके आपको बताता हूं। पहली फाइंडिंग क्या है? पहली फाइंडिंग रेवेन्यू लॉस 2026 राजस्व हानि जो है वो 2026 करोड़ की है। और इसके कारण दूसरी फाइंडिंग डेविएशन फ्रॉम द ऑब्जेक्टिव्स ऑफ पॉलिसी, नीति के उद्देश्यों से विचलन होना। तीसरा एक्सपर्ट पैनल रिकमेंडेशंस इग्नोर्ड बाय GOM, विशेषज्ञ पैनल ने जो अपनी राय दी, सुझाव दिए, उसको GOM ने, ग्रुप ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स ने नजरअंदाज किया। और चौथा जो है ऑल एंटिटीज अलाउड टू बिड डिस्पाइट कंप्लेंट, शिकायतों के बावजूद संस्थाओं को बोली लगाने की अनुमति दी। पांचवी है फाइनेंशियल कंडीशन ऑफ बिडर्स नॉट रेड फ्लैग्ड, बोलीदाताओं की जो वित्तीय स्थिति थी उस पर ध्यान नहीं दिया गया।
ये कहां है CAG रिपोर्ट? 2000 करोड़ रुपए का नुकसान। CAG रिपोर्ट कहां है? उसकी कोई कॉपी है आपके पास? कहां से CAG रिपोर्ट? बीजेपी के दफ्तर में बनती है CAG रिपोर्ट। CAG रिपोर्ट है कहां? भाजपाई बौखला गए हैं, मानसिक रूप से विक्षिप्त हो गए हैं, चौराहे पे खड़े होकर कुछ भी चिल्ला रहे हैं। उनकी हर बात का हम जवाब थोड़ी देंगे। एक तरफ कहते हैं CAG रिपोर्ट टेबल नहीं हुई, दूसरी तरफ कहते हैं CAG रिपोर्ट आ गई। कहना क्या चाहते हैं भाजपा के लोग?
And moving on now to some of the big findings of that CAG report. Let's quickly break it down for our viewers. So this, of course, are the claims made in this CAG report. The total loss is estimated to be about 2,026 crores, 890 crores because the government did not retender surrendered retail licenses before the policy inquiry. Also an amount of 941 crores because exemptions were given to the zonal licenses. And 144 crores because license fee waiver was granted to zonal licensees as well. Also 27 crores because incorrect selection of security deposits took place as well. That's how that total loss, of course, was estimated. But also the findings, of course, were apart from the revenue loss of 2,026 crores that we've already spoken about, also deviations from objectives of policy. This is also something stated in this report. Also, it was found that expert panel recommendations were ignored by the GOM and all entities allowed to bid despite complaints against them. Now, also financial condition of bidders not red flagged. That was also something that was indicated in the finding. Violations in issuance of licenses also took place, and violations were not penalized. Also, lack of transparency in pricing mechanism has also something that has been recovered. Cabinet and LG not sought on many key decisions. Excise rules not placed before assembly for ratification either. And clearly, of course, a lot of lapses that have taken place. All entities allowed to bid despite complaints. That again is a big lapse. Financial condition of bidders not red flagged. Also, despite one entity showing loss, license was renewed. Meanwhile, violators were deliberately not penalized. That's also something that has emerged. Also, there was lack of transparency in the pricing of licenses as well. Now, meanwhile, Cabinet or LG approval was not taken on many key decisions, and actual implementation was suboptimal. Lack of scrutiny of business entities is also something that has emerged. And another lapse, of course, was that exclusivity arrangements between licensees and wholesalers was also seen. Labs, meanwhile, batch testing facilities were also not set up. And equitable distribution of retail wins was also something not achieved. So a lot of lapses as well that this report, of course, has come out with. Remember, this is though something that the Aam Aadmi Party has completely junked, as we heard earlier from that statement by Sanjay Singh. Joining us now live is Jasmine Sandavalia, BJP spokesperson. Dr. Pooja Tripathi, Congress spokesperson, also joins us live. Akil Khan, political analyst, is live with us. Sumit Peer, political commentator, also joins us live. Let me make a start with you, Jasmine Sandavalia. The Aam Aadmi Party has questioned if this CAG report was written in the BJP office. They are saying they've not got any copy of it. They are alleging foul play because the elections are around the corner.
Well, it is very unfortunate that AAP is making such a blasphemous and an obnoxious statement, I would say, to save their skin, that this report was written in the BJP headquarters. Unfortunately, Mr. Kejriwal has to understand that this report is not written in the BJP headquarters, but as an opposition, we are going to take this to the electorate of Delhi and make everybody understand that the holier than thou AAP, which has always projected itself that we are anti-corruption, is totally mired in corruption. And if you look at the report which the India Today has published, you have yourself quoted that there are serious lapses and an entire...
Madam, no point naming other channels when you're on NewsX, but yes, you can, of course, cite details, but...
I'm sorry,
yes.
I didn't know that I was not allowed. I'm sorry, I apologize for that. But I do want to say that the lapses are so huge. And in November 2021, AAP came up with this unique new policy of retailing licenses to in the liquor business. And this new policy had so many lapses that Mr. Manish Sisodia never took the nod of the ministry, never went to the Lieutenant Governor for a policy, and all the bidders, they were allowed to bid, and the favorite cronism was practiced, and no scrutiny was done. And not only was the AAP responsible for giving away licenses to its favorite business people, the liquor mafia, but it also indulged in rampant corruption after that also. If you notice that the licenses, the zonal licenses were given away nearly 941 crores in Largely that due to the restrictions of COVID, 144 crore was waived off. So why was the taxpayers' money swindled away by Mr. Kejriwal, who himself is a revenue officer, a former revenue officer? To accuse the BJP at this junction that the elections are going on is very unfortunate, and we totally disagree. The case has been going on for nearly 2 years, and the gentleman was behind bars for 6 months. Mr. Sisodia, Mr. Sanjay Singh, all three of them were behind bars, and they've got a bail under the Indian Penal Code, and the system of law is going to take its due course, and I rest my case on that.
All right, let me in fact quickly take that across to Pooja Tripathi as well. Pooja Tripathi, what is the Congress's stand on this war of words over this CAG report and its findings? The AAP claims it's fake. The BJP, of course, claims that it's evident of the scam and lapses. What is your stand on this? Also, how important is this issue of the liquor policy irregularities going to be in the upcoming elections, according to you?
I think every day, Uday, every single day comes up new corruption, corruption charges against this party that came to power on the anti-corruption crusade, party that has quote unquote Aam Aadmi in its name. As you know, a few days back, CAG report gave some glaring examples of how AAP convener, Mr. Kejriwal, built a sheesh mahal where there were curtains worth crores and there were gym equipment worth 39 lakhs and kitchen equipments and whatnot. And now this report has come. I have to remind you that it was Congress party that first approached LG using, complaining of glaring lapses in the liquor policy. And it's irony that the 1,000 deaths in the Aam Aadmi Party Sarkar is the only government in the country, only Rajya Sarkar in the government, where the education minister and the liquor minister, excise minister is held by the same person. Person who is responsible for providing textbooks to students is the same person who is responsible for providing 1 to 1 pe 1 free sharab dukaan. And the way they have the whole half of the cabinet is in jail. I'm sure this CAG report, claiming of exchequer loss to worth amount of 26 crores. You just pointed out its features. And AAP has nowhere to hide. It's the same Aam Aadmi Party's Kejriwal who took 70 blank pages and said कि शीला दीक्षित के खिलाफ मैं सारे गवाह सारे सबूत लाऊंगा, the corruption. And I think it was Sheila ji who used to travel in, I remember, Grand Vitara with one gypsy in front and one gypsy in back. And this is the same Kejriwal who claimed कि मैं पूरे VVIP culture को खत्म कर दूंगा, सरकारी गाड़ी नहीं लूंगा, सरकारी बंगला लूंगा. Travels in MG Gloucester with 7 Innovas in front and 7 Innovas in back. The same Kejriwal. So AAP has a lot to answer, not just on liquor policy, or
Right.
huge corruption in Sheesh Mahal, making Delhi a gas chamber, everything.
Okay, Akhil can't respond to that. Pura Tripathi claiming that the AAP has a lot to answer for the BJP's Jasmine. Meanwhile, on the show also saying that how can you just dismiss this report because it doesn't suit you?
You are asking?
Absolutely.
Okay. First of all, this report is not so far tabled. So from where we got, everybody knows that what BJP saying with the no proof of BJP saying about this CAG report. So this is Bharatiya Party totally become Bharatiya Party. They have no other point of no other jobs they have done over the last 10 years plus. So
okay, I think we're having some connection issues with Akhil Khan. We are not being able to understand him very clearly. I think we're having some connection issues with him. Let's try and rectify that, then I'll go back to him. Sumit P, let me quickly draw you in here. Sumit, how much will the voters get swayed by these latest findings of the CAG report? And what are, is this emerging to be one of the main issues you believe this time around in the election? Corruption, the liquor gate, which did see some of the ministers go to jail, including the CM as well, who had, at that time had to resign. After, of course, he came out. He said he is resigning because the public will prove his innocence. So do you believe this election is also going to be, some sort of a referendum on whether there was corruption or not in this liquor gate scam?
Uday, thank you for having me on your show. If you look at the scheme, if you look at the scheme of things, it has been a trademark of AAP giving itself own certificates. They are the only people who print their certificate in their on a home printer and attach it outside their party office. This unique distinction is only with them, and this will never be with anybody else. Now they were used to always say, "Bhai, scam kahan hai?" Now, first of all, you said CBI is corrupt, ED is corrupt, all government agencies are corrupt. Then you said courts are corrupt. Then are you going to say even the CAG is corrupt? Now, the only person whom we have to believe is far right and is above everything and every institution of India is Mr. Kejriwal. मतलब केजरीवाल नहीं हो गया तो ये मतलब भगवान राम की वाणी हो गई. If he said no scam has happened, no scam has happened. If he says, now when the cat is out of the bag, you are talking of a 2,000 crore scam. There's a breakup of how did the scam go. Now you're saying it's dismissed and all because they're worried. They know this is going to hit them. Why did they start this? Why did he go to Hanuman Mandir recently? Why did he try to start, stipend or salary for Pandits and Granthis? Because he knows his image of that Kattar Imandar party and Kattar Imandar army is gone. And Uday, there is one thing more. They are always saying, paise kahan mile? So if I go and rob somebody, if I have laundered the money out, you won't find anything in my home. So that means if the proceeds of crime are not found in my home, the scam never happened. Now, if the CAG is saying that, and a reputed channel has kind of done this expose, so you have to really go and answer the things. You are trying to conceptually, dismantle the whole thing. And I'm sure when this report will be tabled, then they will say it's motivated by BJP. Then I say courts have not decided. When we will go to courts, then say, oh, the courts are controlled by BJP. Then we'll go to High Court. Oh, High Court is again controlled by BJP. Then we'll go to Supreme Court. Then say, oh, Supreme Court is controlled by the BJP. Then they will say, finally say, देखो, मैं तो बेगुनाह हूँ, तो जनता की अदालत डिसाइड करेगी. मतलब केजरीवाल जी के लिए the law never starts. He's the person who starts the law. He's the person who ends the law. ये वो कालिया वाला डायलॉग है, हम जहाँ खड़े होते हैं लाइन वहां से शुरू होती है. That's exactly how what he thinks the law is. Wherever he stands, whatever he says, that is the gospel truth. That's casted in stone. Now, after this report, I think that image is gone. The people of Delhi are realizing what they have done, and this is not the only scam. You look at the DTC scam, you look at the jail board scam, you look at the school scam, you look up, there's so many, there's a plethora of, there's a big laundry list of scams which have happened. And if you look at one scam, एक छोटा मोटा scam, matra 2,000 crore, matra, and it's small change. And now your Sheesh Mahal, your so many things. Where is that Kejriwal who used to go in a blue wagon-R? Where was that Kejriwal wearing a muffler? And after having done a two, but एक चीज तो बोलना ही पड़ेगी. After this 2,000 crore scam, the bush shirt, 5 rupee Renault pen, chappal, and the trousers have not changed. Huh? Now you have Pooja ji was saying this is some big fancy car with 7 Innovas here and there. But dressing sense is still the same. Huh? That has not changed. That oversized shirt, balo mein tel and all. I mean, they have hired some good image consultants. And Manish Sisodia ji again wears the same sweater again and again. But at the end of the day, how many people are you trying to befool? You have done these thousands of crores of scams, and now you are alleging everybody is corrupt. BJP is corrupt, Congress is corrupt, Sun is corrupt, Moon is corrupt, Supreme Court, ED, sab kuch corrupt hai, but we are only right. I think there's a height where you can pull all this. People of Delhi will look through it, and that is why if he did not see the ground shaking, Udayji, why did he try to give salaries to Pandits and Grantis? He would have never done that. Why did he go to Hanuman Mandir after 10 years being in power? अब हनुमान जी की 10 साल बाद आ गई क्या? 10 साल पहले क्यों नहीं गए? So he lives in Hanuman Mandir is in CP. He lives 2 kilometers away from there. It took him 10 years to go there. Now he thinks the ground is shaking, and after these exposes, there is nothing more to prove because everybody knows. I mean, there is a smoke and there's a fire. If there's a 2,000 crore scam, it has happened. You might argue with the numbers here and there, but you cannot say कि कुछ नहीं हुआ.
Okay, Akhil Khan, respond now. Let's try and get back Akhil Khan. Akhil Khan, can you hear me? Okay, I think unfortunately he's frozen. Let's try and get Akhil Khan back with us, please, or an Aam Aadmi Party supporter on the phone line to respond to these allegations. Our producers who are listening. Let me quickly go back across to Jasmine Zandawalia now. Jasmine Zandawalia, now as far as, of course, this Liquorgate scam is concerned, do you believe it is one of the big issues this time around? As I said earlier too, this obviously was an issue because of which certain big leaders of the AAP had to resign as well in the last 5 years. Arvind Kejriwal too has indicated that he possibly could be back in the CM's chair if the public votes him in, because that will be a vote of a cleanliness and a vote of no corruption is what he said earlier too.
Well, like the gentleman prior to me was speaking to you on the debate, the kit which the certificate of cleanliness and of character goodness which AAP has given to itself is very unique in this era of politics, I would say. Kudos to the man to have such bravado and project himself that he's cleaner. Supreme Court is wrong, High Court, the judiciary of this country is wrong, the CAG report is wrong, the ED is wrong, everybody is wrong for Mr. Kejriwal and his political party. And when he says that he's going to go to the voters and they are going to vote him, you see, he always wanted to be the chief minister. He never gave up. This was a unique position in the electoral history of India after independence, that a chief minister was in jail for 6 months and he did not resign. So on ethical grounds and moral grounds also, the man failed miserably. He was so insecure that he did not trust.
But Jasmine Zandawalia, now at the end of the day, of course, we have seen CAG reports, level certain allegations at the UPA government as well earlier. And, one or two of them did turn out to not stand the test of time in the judiciary. So is it too early then to declare that this is evidence of corruption that has happened, or this is the final say, because the cases are still pending in the judiciary? I'm going to ask you that counter because we don't have the AAP, so I'm going to try and play the devil's advocate. Yes, go ahead.
I would definitely agree with you as an Indian citizen and as a voter that this is not the final thing. The report is there, but the report is definitely coming up with certain loopholes, with serious loopholes where the AAP has gone wrong, and it is a case which is pending in the courts will decide, but there is enough evidence to convict him eventually when the case gets decided. So as a political party, I would say that our stance, where we stand, we've always been saying that the man is mired in mired in corruption, and that there was serious lapses in the liquor policy, and we stand vindicated on that. And I would definitely agree with you, at the same time again supporting that the case will be decided, the judiciary will decide what is going to happen, but it is very, very crystal clear from the evidence which has come up that they are involved in serious lapses of corruption.
Okay, let me take that to Pooja Tripathi. Pooja Tripathi, CAG reports, not the final, at the end of the day say, because we've seen it in the UPA's case that a couple of them turned out to be very different. So I'm sure you would acknowledge that. But yet you are castigating the AAP on the basis of the CAG reports. Is that double speak or not?
I think that's a very valid point, and thank you for raising that. The way UPA stands vindicated by the whole CAG upheaval that happened at the UPA too. But what is important is we are not attacking AAP just on the CAG report. They had to retract the liquor policy. They had to, AAP when the whole Delhi, the country was gasping under acute health emergency, gasping for oxygen when people were lining up in the front of cremation ground. This was the same Aam Aadmi Party Kejriwal that, mentioned I'll not build any government houses or things like that, was building a 37 crore worth of Shish Mahal. We are asking Aam Aadmi Party, we all have lived through the nightmare of October and November air, the gas chamber that Delhi turned into. It was impossible to breathe. We are asking on how the greenest capital city turned into a gas chamber. How Yamuna, ammonia levels in Yamuna had turned up to 4 ppm. When 37 lakh students drop out from the schools when there is a study, why does Delhi feature among the 5 states? These are some very, very serious and, fact of the matter reports that Arvind Kejriwal has to answer. And we are targeting them. We are asking questions, accountability in left, right and center and everything. Whatever Kejriwal ji promised and whatever Delhi has been turned into, be it sewage, water, be it people are forced to buy drinking water, be it the state of infrastructure, be it the state of education, the Mohalla clinic scam where there was fake signatures and proxy attendances there for everyone to see. It was not something, that could be questioned. The school dropout report is something that could not be questioned. So we are asking Kejriwal on multiple issues. As Sumit said, usually me and Sumit are always on the opposite sides of the spectrum, that numbers may vary, but there is a lot that Kejriwal needs to answer on his very carefully fabricated image of oversized shirt and a 5 rupee Renault pen, because the amount of corruption this party has involved in, and claiming huge claims ki घर नहीं लेंगे, गाड़ी नहीं लेंगे, ये नहीं लेंगे, वीवीआईपी कल्चर खत्म कर देंगे, शीला दीक्षित के खिलाफ मेरे पास 70 पेजेस का सबूत है. Nothing, not even 7 points have come out in the open. So Kejriwal needs to answer on a lot of things. And CAG report, it may turn, the numbers may become lesser or more, we don't know. CAG report may turn out to be something of a political propaganda. But Kejriwal needs to answer on education scam, health scam, turning Delhi into gas chamber, the infrastructure woes, the sewage water problem, the drinking water problem, everything that Delhi is facing today, because he promised sun, moon and stars, and what he's delivered has turned into Delhi. We have lived through the nightmare, we have lived through the menace that Delhi has been turned into. So there's a lot of questions that Kejriwal needs to answer.
So with me, last word to you.
धर्म की राजनीति नहीं करता, is promising, a monthly stipend.
Okay, Pooja. So with me.
I want to answer, few things. I want to question few things. With due respect, Mr. Kejriwal ji, how many schools, new schools have you built? Kitne banaye new? Answer is 0. How many new colleges did you build? How many new hospitals did you build? How many new flyovers did you build? How many new, what new infrastructure did you build? How many oxygen plants did you put? How many new ICU beds did you add? Your Mohalla clinic is a scam, faked as Sweden. DTC is a scam. How many women in Punjab and Delhi are getting this 1,000 rupees which is promised by you? right? Now with this Mola Clinic scam, with this DTC scam, with the gel board scam, gel board is big scam, and with this renovation scam of schools, which is again in having. Now you have the liquor gate. Now after all, and the shishmal, I mean, I forget. I mean, there's a laundry list of scams, which alleged scams, which you are talking about, and yet you want to dismiss everything and anything. In your opinion, from a police station, corrupt. Sessions Court corrupt, High Court corrupt, ED, CBI, Supreme Court, everybody is corrupt. कल को तो आप ये भी बोलोगे कि जो ऊपर वाला है he is also corrupt because he is with BBJP. I mean, they're just waiting for that thing to happen. But in politics, giving yourselves all the certificates, printing them at home and pasting on your doorstep does not buy you votes all the time. You can befool people once, twice, but the people of India and the people of Delhi understand what you are, and the kind of image consultants you're using, but the kind of entourage you have, that doesn't really go with well. There was somebody on your panel a couple of days back. He was saying, I was amazed to look at the entourage of Sriman Raghav Chadda ji. I mean, I think he has an entourage as comparable to the Prime Minister of India. I mean, with all those things happening, you how many times can you think
Right.
you can befool people?
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.